We were good.
Hey.
Hi.
No copyright.
I know. I literally feel like I see. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there something important?
Yeah, it's a timer for your show.
Hinge or something? What are you doing?
No, it's just
Let
timer
me
for your
see.
show.
Oh, okay. I got.
I deleted Hinge.
I know that. Did you?
I did.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you.
I wasn't lying. I don't have time.
I know. Carson doesn't even have time to eat. Like he forgets to poop sometimes.
Sometimes. All the time. No, listen, I don't forget. My body forgets.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's a
What a way to start this one. Oh
I know.
Gosh.
This is
you and Andy are kings of this, where it's just the first 5 minutes.
I just want to get right into it. So, anyways, I'm so excited to actually introduce you. Watch the table.
Listen, I can put my foot up on the table. Oh.
So, please, do you want to do the honors?
No, it's your show. You introduce me.
So this is Carson Ezell. He is literally the reason why I am in Los Angeles, why I have music to begin with. This is I always say it, if you look at my captions, my right hand, and the reason why I am the artist I am. So I like to say...
I was just going to say, hi, I'm Carson. This is so
humble, like today, just because he's on camera. But yeah, we actually, I'll give a little rundown. I'm going to you drink your coffee.
Okay, cool. Okay. I'll just sit here.
So I actually met Carson in Berklee College of Music. Go Jazz Cats. So
we don't say that.
So because we're musicians, we didn't have a real college.
We didn't.
No. So I met Carson through Matt Westergom, who's also on my podcast. Mm-hmm. And he brought him to this like friend dinner. I didn't know who this kid was. And I was like,
a lunch.
Yeah. That was that beneficial to Carson.
Hey, listen.
It's the moment that he met his friends. So it's like High School Musical. So then
I like how you're like downplaying this later. You're like, oh, Carson's so lame. I'm like, sorry, I remember the time I met you.
It's like so cute.
You're describing it. If you're like
so then he brought him, and I again did not. I think the ironic part of our friendship is I genuinely did not think we were gonna be friends. I was like, I'm not gonna be friends with this kid. It's like literally the orientation week. I called him a Casper. I was like, I don't know his name. I don't like, it's fine. I didn't know his name, so I was just like Casper. And he didn't even know my name.
I didn't. I do call you T sometimes now, but like in fear of not remembering her name, I just called her T.
Yeah, God forbid you mess someone's name up in Berklee. It's like,
yeah,
what? So
it's not good.
It's not good. So we literally just didn't even call each other by our names, and
every time I saw you, I was like, oh,
Casper.
You.
I was very vocal. I was like, Casper,
yeah.
Carson, Casper.
Yeah.
So after that, we became great friends. I mean, we lived together.
Yeah, we do.
So it's like 6 years, and the irony is I didn't think we would be friends, and now on. Like not just being friends, business partners.
Mm-hmm.
How's that looking for you?
How's that looking for me? Is your question?
Yeah. Do you like being my friend, or do you just like me for my business? It's a good question.
Well,
this is when we're really gonna find out the truth.
I mean, I could still keep going on without you if that's that's your question.
All right, I gotta go.
No, I like working with people that I like. Like if I work with you, I like you.
I know. I like him.
Like and there's some people I've worked with that I come home and I'm like, I'm trying to end this. I'm trying to end this as soon as possible.
I'm trying not to end my career, but I'm trying to end this. Like,
yeah, I tell most of the projects that I work with, I only have a certain amount of time, and so if I'm working with you, I like working with you.
Yeah, and I think like the one thing with you, we both went through very similar things every year in Berklee. Like we would go through, like a lot of people always ask like, how is it living with Carson, or like vice versa, and I feel like we are and have always been very similar people, like very like career driven, very like we're both up at like 5 a.m. Maybe sometimes I snooze for like 30 minutes, but I'm up.
Slacker. I'll wake up and I see the door shut. And I'm like,
He's damn it.
there was one time I had a day off and you texted me and you're like, yeah, I noticed you slept in. I guess you're just not doing anything.
Yeah.
I was like, God forbid I get sleep after working
like,
2 jobs.
Oh my gosh. Your door is closed. Like, I'm up. I'm ready. But like, I'm ready to go. Where are you? It's like who's gonna get to that coffee machine first? Who's getting coffee first?
It's infamously me because I woke up at 3 today.
Okay, this is not a competition.
You just said it was a competition and I won.
Anyways.
Lose gracefully.
I'm a winner. So we, again, even the song that plays before we start Talks with T, like that was a song that we worked on together. And just the process, I think that Carson has always been through that entire process. Like when I came to Berkeley, like obviously like until this day, I still want to be a singer. Like that's my goal. And I think that it's just funny how God works because like we were literally sitting in the cafeteria and we were like, oh my God, like you do this, I do that. Like, why don't we just like, because a lot of people in Berkeley will say like, we need to jam, we need to work together.
We need to collab.
We need to collab. And like the next thing you know, like they're collabing on like the freaking like 4 logos in a basement.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I just made the biggest hit. But it's like, love you, respect. But it's literally how it is. So we were sitting and I was like, we should.
I think your point is a lot of people are a lot of talk.
Oh, yes. Not a lot of game.
And it's, like, oh, yes. I worked on one song and then I'll talk about it for 3 months.
3 years sometimes.
Depending. Doesn't diminish the quality of that song, but that seems to be the cycle.
Yeah. And so I was very like, I had what I want. I still have what I want. And Carson was just always alongside me. And I think even like, not to be cheesy, but a lot of what I do, or like, I think I text him more than my own like mother. My like he literally is like, I'll be like, is this good? Is this like, I go to any creative thing, I always have him. And I think that's an important thing in the music industry is making sure that you have someone, because it is such a dirty industry that you will lose yourself. And you learn about it in Berkeley, but like you really don't. Like
No, you don't. I would say you don't.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because people, I guess.
No, because I mean, I think you and Matt talked about it last week, but it's the thing or a couple weeks ago. But in LA, most people are looking over your shoulder, seeing how they can help you, or like, oh, you have this connection. I'm just here for this connection, not you, who you are, and all that stuff. So Berkeley, I think they like try to prepare you for that, but you don't really receive it. Like you might receive it with some of your like our peers, but like I don't think like our teachers really were like, people are fake,
Yeah. I think the teachers try to make you like, they'll give you the what to better your craft, but it is something that is like with Berkeley, and me and Carson have the same perspective of it, is like only a handful of people actually bettered us and made us grow. It was really like you have to be the one to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, no, I'm gonna do it myself. Like I'm gonna chase that dream, because it's very easy to get comfortable. It's very easy to just be like, okay, like I'm a musician, but what are you gonna do to achieve that? Like there's so much that goes into it. And I think that my mom has asked me, oh, do you regret Berkeley? And I was like, no, because I met, it's what you make of it. It is about the networking. It is about who you're going to put on your team. Because like, if I didn't go, I would have never met you, right. And vice versa. And I still, till this day, like, we're here. We're living here.
We don't do this. Why are you starting this weird handshake now?
But like we live together, and it's something that I always find so funny, because like we were in Boston 4 years. And we literally were like, all right, LA's next. Like, we're going to do it. And even that mentality, like, you can ask Carson, I would call him every single day in the summer. I don't know. Should I go here? Like, do you know? Like, but it takes that like risk. And Carson,
I think my favorite was she hit me with Arizona. I would have understood if it was like, oh, like I was looking into Nashville, I was looking into New York. You're like, you know,
I got a job opportunity.
Phoenix is looking really nice.
No, I got a job
opportunity. I remember on the FaceTime just like,
I got a job opportunity in Arizona, and like that's a like comfortable, like to be comfortable. Like it was something
you were like, I'll try to fly out every other weekend.
And I had to just literally like take the risk of just being like, you know what, screw it. Like I'ma just take that risk, because you need to. A lot of people, again, we talk about this, is like a lot of people think that with risk, like it's just like easy, like, oh, we're living the dream, like me and you're just like balling. It's not easy. It sucks.
Today I quit my secondary source of income.
Because he chose happiness.
I don't know if I chose happiness. I think I just realized I can't actually pursue my career if I have that job.
There's like a lot of, but again, like something that I'm very thankful for is like about Berkeley is like I had you and I have you still. Like it's very refreshing to know that in this industry I have someone that genuinely has my back and genuinely respects me, not as not even as like an artist, but as a friend. Like genuinely like looks at me and he's like, no, that's my best friend. Like that's someone that I want. Like even if I got a deal right now with Simon Cowell, like he's not looking at it like, fuck. Like he's gonna be like, yeah, that's my roommate.
Well, I've always told you, like, and it's the same thing with me producing your stuff. I'm like, if you find a producer that you work better with, like, go.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's always a blessing to work with you, but like, it's not necessarily like, it's got to be me, you know?
Yeah.
It's worked out because I think the people in the past have just not pulled through. Whereas I think we've both just figured out how to work with each other as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you know, all of those things, all those pieces come together. Whereas because like the producer artist relationship is super weird. Like even like there was an artist I worked with recently and I could still tell it was super weird. Like, you know, especially because most of the time the producer is a guy and the artist is a girl. So then you're always like juggling that, which you've had to like
in this industry, not to cut you off, is like, it's very easy to get like, oh, the producer wants to work with you for more than just your song. And so that's a very hard thing too in this industry.
Right.
And he tries to not show that.
Well, it's not like
He doesn't show it. He just try not to do it. He doesn't shit where he eats.
Well, yeah, you asked me like a couple months ago, you're like, have you ever done that? And I was like, no. But no, this isn't applaud Carson time.
No, I'm just like, isn't that sad that we have to applaud you?
No, but what I'm saying is I'm bringing it up because it is like a real thing.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of people think you and I are dating at certain points. It takes like us.
We're not together. He is a single man. Yes. He is, ladies, he is something, let me tell you.
Cool. Thank you.
Looks great too.
Thanks. All right. So what I'm saying is that is a divide that a lot of producers and artists that have to overcome because, you know,
until you get to the top, it is weird. Like,
it is weird. So like you and I have been able to establish like obviously that boundary. Yeah. But it's always really weird, you know, like because you know, musicians, like we're very like free. It's not like we have like there's no HR at Mood Mixer, like, you know, like
there's no PR right now. Like
there's no PR. Andy is saying whatever he wants.
Yeah. Like, could get you in trouble, but it's just us.
Right. So that's really difficult. So I think that's also what's kind of kept us together as a team is because we've established that, you know, like we're like, okay, this is our relationship, not only in this working environment, but also in real life as well. So we never have to like, go over those obstacles. I was getting to a point, but it was also too, you're like, oh, you're a person that like trusts and believes in me and all those things. And I was like, I think I told you the other day, I was like, no, you need to understand too, you have also trusted and believed in me even when I did not possess the skills necessary. Like even with Broken Glass, when we're working, because she was talking about how we met and we started to work together. My skills when I made that first song terrible. We recorded Broken Glass
in a freaking Berkeley practice room.
And it was the ones, if you went to Berkeley, it's in 160, and it's like this very like,
it's a shack.
It's literally like a shack.
It's a closet.
And
both of us in this tight space, and I'm singing, huh? I don't wanna be the
yeah, no, exactly. And not soundproof.
5 hours too.
Yeah, so not soundproof. So you could hear like drums in the background, like all these things. So for me at that time, like again, I didn't have the resources to do it, but it's the thing too, like I didn't know any better. Like I was like, oh, we could just do it here. So now there's great mixing engineers, that worked on that track to make that vocal work, even though
to make it what it is.
To make it what it is. But to now where like I've, especially like you probably get this with singing and songwriting, is a lot of people think when you're learning a skill like anything in music, it's very linear. It's not. It's very much like stairs where you're just constantly going up for a really long time. And then out of the middle of nowhere, you're just like, oh, okay, now I'm on the next rung of it. So like with drums, I've experienced that a lot. But with producing and mixing, like I've definitely like for a very long time, I've just been like, when is it gonna go? And then within this year, I've been like, oh, I actually know what I'm talking about now. And what I think is special about this is you waited for me to get there. Whereas most artists would be like, screw this guy.
I don't hang out. I don't hang out with losers. And I saw so much potential, and I still think he's going to be, literally, I'm speaking this out, so successful. He's going to be, fuck Travis Baker.
It is Barker.
Barker.
You're right.
He is the next Travis Barker, Mark Ronson, like all of it, because he's so talented. And I genuinely I mean that so much. Like,
oh, thank you.
But I always make the joke.
You're okay.
It's my vocal injury, right? So, no, that really means a lot. I think we both.
Yeah, I said you're okay, and you went. That means a lot.
That means a lot. Thank you.
You're like sobbing.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually have cried. Like I've cried so many. Like we record so many things together, and I'm like, it's so. Like I'm telling you, like, and that's another thing. He has to deal with every part of me, like the good, the bad, the crying. Like I'll just start crying, and I'll be like, because this is my dream. And so like for me, like, again, it is such a blessing to have someone that not only believes in you, but is making that dream come to life. Because not a producer. I cried in MTech. Like, so, but going back with Berkeley, like a lot of people always ask, hashtag Lasha, who is Lasha? My brother, he'll like this episode because we're talking music. What is one thing from Berkeley though that, because there's a lot, again, we all talk shit about Berkeley, but there are some good things. Like what would you say that really made you who you are, that you got from being there?
Berkeley gave me multiple opportunities to fail. And then realize.
Okay, I don't mean to laugh. I just didn't expect that.
No. Like, I mean, we talked about like obviously like the community, because like I think when I got to Berkeley, I felt like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna meet all of these like crazy musicians, and then we're gonna form this, whatever, and then be the next
Beatles.
Charlie, something. Right. But what you realize is like, you're like, no, you find like-minded people that are friends, and then you all support each other. And if you end up working genre-wise with them, then you can end up working with them. But most of my friends, minus Andy, who usually sits across from me, is like, and like we work similarly with genre, but like Natalie and then like Matt, who sat here, we don't have that many.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I said with Natalie's a couple weeks ago, is like, what makes us work really well is we can just cheer each other on, and then, but like there's no competition really. So back to like, obviously the networking part is good, because like you do find your friends that end up supporting you, and then maybe forming something that's good. But like I went to Berkeley wanting to do what's called music production and engineering, which is basically my job now. But I got there. Like in my interview to go to Berkeley, I told in the interview, I want to work with these people because I want to be in this major. Got there. MP&E was like a capped major, so you had to apply to get into it. It wasn't like you could
It's
just
like one of the hardest
you
things.
you can't declare just MP&E out of nowhere.
And you can get rejected.
You can get rejected
many times,
and they still
you might not even get it at all.
Yeah.
Your 4 years.
So I remember going, and within like the first couple weeks, going to the chair of that department's office and sitting down and being like, I want to be in this major. Tell me what to do. And so, I mean, like he was like, love the enthusiasm. But yeah,
You're in.
Yeah, he was like, but then he said, okay, but before you do all of these cartwheels that we force you to do, please like go shadow someone. So I went to like the MP&E club. I think it's the Audio Engineering Society or whatever. Found a senior. I was like, let me just follow you. I'm gonna get to follow you home. I'm gonna watch you. I'm just gonna watch your every move and decide if I like this. No,
the day that he realized he didn't even want to be a musician.
Yeah, exactly. I just
he saw the mattress on the person's in the person's apartment and was like,
I'm like, no.
Too
So
bougie for that.
I watched him like do like a session, like he had like practice time, and I'm not getting technical, but like he was just messing with like compressors and plugins for like 2 hours, which I probably just came in on a bad practice time, but I saw that and I was like, this is stupid. This is what the major is, and I just didn't do it.
I hate it.
Then I did songwriting. That was the worst. That was literally the worst. Because I will like, and this is no knock on the department. You and Natalie graduated with song. I mean, you were pro music, but
pro
like
music, yeah.
you had songwriting stuff. It's a good department. The reason I joined is because the vice president of that department, he was a producer, but like also worked with songwriters. He did like Big Time Rush, and like I remember being like, "You made that song," and like, so I did it.
He hated it. I remember that.
I hated it. Let me put it in perspective for you. I had 2 classes where I'd have to write a song. I would have to sing that song, record it. Now, Teona's heard me sing. I do not sing. I cannot sing. It just doesn't sound good. I can sing on pitch. It just does not sound good. So I would have to record 2 songs and sing it a week. And now, picture it's on Zoom, and then also your ex-girlfriend is in that class. When it stacks up like that.
It really did something to him.
It really just...
It was not it.
It's not it. So...
That's why he found me to write his songs.
Yeah, it's like...
He's like, damn, I need you, bro.
So immediately I was like, I cannot do this. This is just not me. So then I did pro music. So you're seeing this trajectory of failure over and over again. And then I did pro music. Wasn't really liking it at the start. And then I went to that studio in the Netherlands. And then finally had that like moment with my boss where he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I like recording. I like playing drums. And like at that time I formed my band with Danny Sykes, the Rat Bags. And I was like, I just want to play in this band. I like recording it and I want to go tour. And the most impactful words that someone has ever said to me in my entire life, it has actually, like this, I'm not being dramatic, has drastically changed the trajectory of my life, is then just go fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. So then after 2 years of just constantly trying things and failing, then I was like, oh, I have direction. And then everything else just kind of pieces together because you're like, oh, then I could do this, then I could do this, and see how it all intertwines.
And then that's how we got into pro music.
Exactly.
I also did pro music, which is like a mixture. And something about Berkeley is everyone shits on pro music because it's not a legitimate, like...
I think the freshmen would.
The freshmen
would. Freshmen, they're like, I'm doing pro music.
Because it's not a legitimate degree in a sense of like, you're not getting pro music in any college. So pro music is a little bit of everything. So for me, I did songwriting, performance, and then I minored in music business. So for me, I got a little bit of everything. And I was so against it going in because I was like, no, like I want to do this. I want to do this. And I'm very thankful for that because I got a little bit of everything. And I like how you said the failure because I think that there was a lot of things through Berkeley as well that even with failure that made me the artist that I am.
Yeah.
Like my first year, I had a vocal injury too. And I thought it was a failure. I was like, shit, like I just got in here.
Yeah, you went to a music school to sing.
And I got a vocal injury the first month. And I was like, $70,000 down the drain. I literally was just crying. For me, I needed that to like I became better. I want to give a shout out to Aubrey Johnson, Sarah Curvin. They were teachers that literally like really made me into this singer that I am, because I wanted, like, they really taught. Those are some teachers that like really benefited me in terms of like vocally. And I, talking about failure, like more so every season semester was what really benefited me in Berklee, because I think that, again, it is what you make of it. And for me, what I learned was it took a lot of trials. Like, you go through imposter syndrome. You go through things of like, do I even want this? Like, or vocal injuries. You go through things that you meet people that are going to be better than you. And it's what are you going to do from that? And I needed that. I think that Berklee was a force for me to really you're going to meet people after Berklee that are either so much more successful than you, or just there's so much that they can offer, and you have to really be confident in your craft and know that. And I would have never got that if I didn't go to Berklee, because like I went through a whole phase where I was like, oh, I'm not good, or this, do I even want this? And oh, I don't know. Like every semester was a new like challenge, and it really took me to a level of like, I need to know who I am, like who is Teona Zach. And we've had that discussion, and I would have never really figured that out if I didn't go to Berklee, because everyone's going to have a say. Everyone, especially in the music industry, you're in an industry where like everyone has their eyes on you, and you need to fully be okay with your failures. You have to own that. You have to own your craft. You have to own your failures. And I don't think I would have gotten that, because if I didn't go to Berklee, I would have went somewhere in Staten Island or New York, like a state school. And I would have just been like low key, like not saying like the best, but like low key, like who else is going to try to chase a dream like that? Like, you're not surrounded by people that are all trying to chase the same thing or do the same thing as you. So yeah, there's a saying, if you're the smartest person in a room, you're in the wrong room. And so Berklee was that, like, finally that place where it's like, I'm not the best. I'm not even halfway there yet. Like I gotta own that. And it was also a place where I finally owned my craft, because before Berklee, if you asked me, are you a good singer? I'd be like, I guess, like, I think so. Like now I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking good. Like, look me up on Spotify, all platforms, Apple Music, YouTube, like I'm good. I love what I do. And it took that. So even though we shit on that, like, we're here.
We are.
It didn't break us to the point where we're not. And how much time do we have?
Ooh, we have about like 3 minutes.
Okay, I want to end off, it's just so we just keep talking for hours. Like, we're just the best roommates, business partners. Since like we will definitely have more conversations about Berklee.
For sure.
But because we talked about that, one thing I want to leave off with is, after experience those 4 years, your failures, everything, I want you to say yours and then mine. Like, what would be one of the things that you feel most passionate, or like taught you to be the person you are here now, like within LA, like that you're here now? Like, what is the biggest like successes, in a sense of like, oh, I'm here now, and like that, like I'm proud of myself for that. Like some people say I graduated Berklee. Like that's not the success. Like what would you say looking now in this very moment?
Now at this very moment.
What's your biggest success point?
I mean, this is vague, but just what I've already been able to like slowly build in less than a year. Like I moved here in August, and I was talking to my mentor earlier today and just talking about future plans I have with his team that I'm really privileged to be a part of. And just that alone, the job I'm able to have, what we're doing right now. Because, like I could tell a lot of people thought I was talking out of my ass like doing this. And, you know, we're still able to do this. You're writing songs, you know, we're slowly building. And I think it's a thing of what I'm really proud of so far is like I can see, because before, whenever I'd create something, I would just really like pray that it was good, you know, and now what I'm seeing is I'm like, no, I can actually see the potential that it is going to be good. I'm still going to keep praying, but like,
I still love you, God.
I still love God, but there is a higher degree, not that I'm the best, but there is a boost in confidence in the sense of like, oh, I can kind of see how it's all working.
Yeah.
So like when I'm working on your stuff, I'm not like texting you the draft and I'm like,
she gonna like it.
She gonna like it. Whereas now I'm like, I know this is good, but she might not like parts because it's like tastefully you just don't like the part. Instead of before I'm like, I don't know, you know. So I think that is what I'm proud of so far is just like what's been able to be built. But I'm not necessarily seeing the foundation is good. I'm not seeing the building, but I'm happy with the foundation.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you?
Oh, thank you so much. I actually have
I was just gonna leave it at that. That's been Talks with T.
Talks with T. I think honestly, I have to agree. Like one of the biggest successes again is like
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. Your biggest success, like obviously what you've built, and I'll let you finish.
You're gonna make me cry.
But like you moved here, because I think a lot of people do not understand. Because like people are like, oh, you moved to Boston, you know, because I'm from Bakersfield, so I'm from California. And I'm like, yeah, but there's still like a security net there because it's school. I was still able to go home. Like you're still able to go home. You're not like under lockdown. But
thank you, Shauna, for being the mom of California that I can run away to.
Right. But that's already a big thing in of itself. And even like a lot of our peers, I went to Nashville, New York, LA. It's a big thing because now you are being an adult on your own here. I'll let you finish, but I just wanted to say that.
He's said this to me in the past and I've literally cried. Like I've cried when he said that. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, why do you gotta make me cry like that? But I do think he was the one that put that in, like, and I thank you for that because for a long time, like after Berkeley, like I'm very hard on myself, as we know, very hard on myself. And I think for me, I was still trying to like, I also feel like I have to prove something to everyone. Like, and Carson was the one that really opened my eyes to that. And to bounce off of that has to be one of my biggest successes is the fact that I did move out here because I feel like I never saw it until he said it to me was like, and I didn't just move out here for like shits and giggles. Like I was like, no, I'm going to do it for that one thing. Because if you ask me, it is a hard transition. It's like, if you haven't seen my podcast in the past, you should. It's different. It's so different. I'm from New York. And so it was one of those things. And Carson always had those phone calls like, I don't know if I want to do it. And I always say a lot of people, listen, it is a big deal that we graduated. But when you're in Berkeley, it's really, that's not the success point. That's not like you graduating, like, great, you just started your life. Let's see what you're going to do with it now. Like, go, like, chase it. And I think that when I look back at everything that Berkeley taught me, I think that's what I find impactful is like taking that risk. Because you're right. It is like you go to Boston. That alone was for me like scary too. But it's a different thing is to say, I'm doing this. And it takes a lot for that. And to be able to still do it. And there's challenges, whatever. And I see myself coming from Berkeley into here and finding more of who I am as an artist and what I want to bring to that table. And that's a success because you could just be comfortable. And I think that when you're pushing yourself consistently, that is a success. Like you're learning every single day. And I wouldn't be learning if I wasn't pushing myself to take that risk to come here. So I think that, as you said, just go out and fucking do it. Like, it's scary. We're not saying that it's easy. We're not saying that it's all hearts, bubbles, and sunshines. I think me and Carson have mental breakdowns like every other day. but
they're usually synced too, which is funny.
Yeah, we don't even look at each other. We know when not to talk.
No. You'll come out of your room and I'm like, all right.
She's going through it. Sis looks rough. But like, I just think that what we're ending off on a good note is success, if you haven't seen from our things, is to actually, as I like this quote, to go out and fucking do it. And
yeah, I want him to do, like, I like, that has been the key motivator in my life. It's not a very PG quote. It's not a
PG quote.
I can't
but life ain't PG.
I can't go to my cousin Cooper and be like, you want to know the wisest words of advice I ever got? He's 13.
Life ain't PG, so get it together. No, but seriously, just like, I think people think it's easy and it's not. Like, we look happy and we are because we're happy what we're doing. But it will, if it's for you, like, everything will go together. Because I came here with nothing. I was telling people, yeah, I got everything lined up. Nothing. Just showed up to LA in a freaking car. And I was like, I'm here. Palm trees. And everything was lining up. And we will get into that in another episode of those months of both of us. Because again, even finding this apartment, but it just fell in our lap. And so I think that when it's supposed to be yours, hard work and not giving up, because you gotta chase success. You want to be a winner, you gotta fucking chase success. And I'm still running. Yeah. Me and you are running that. It's not what is it? It's not a race. It's a marathon.
It's not your quote. Just stop looking at the camera like it's your quote.
It's the next song. What? It's going to be our next song. It's not a race.
Are you whispering?
People tend to like when you whisper. It's like ASMR. But we're going to end off on this note, right? I think we could just keep talking. We live together. We could just keep talking. But I actually got a flight to catch. So I got to bounce. But thank you, Carson.
Thank you.
Not like you had a choice.
It's been like we've gone through like 6 episodes of Talks with T before I've come on. This is crazy.
We actually had one with you, but
yeah, it just wasn't good.
Again, he's a perfectionist too. Like, if it's good quality now. But I want to say thank you, Carson, for everything that you do for our podcast. Please watch Mood Mixer, Talks with T. Till next time.